Hey you, welcome back to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. My name is Satchmo and this is episode 36. Today we are going to the big green gas giant of the Kerbal system, Jool. So let's go ahead and map that out. Delta V map. I already have the number up here because I had to do this once already, and then I had to re-record this segment. So that is why you got a sneak preview here, but just for completion's sake, let's go ahead and add it up on camera anyway. 3400 plus 950 plus the green section here is the Jool system, so 980 on top of that. And then what I was doing is 160 more for the capture, so plus 160 more. There we go. And then margins, 1.1, multiply that by 1.1, so we got about $6,000 if you add 10% margin on top of what they already have included here. So about $6,000 there, and of course $6,000 back since I've only added it up to the capture stage. It'll be a little bit less than $6,000 on the way back, of course, because some of this will be arrow broken away, most if not all of it. So we should have plenty of Delta V to actually play once we get there. In fact, I'm only really thinking maybe between about 1,500 to $2,000 to actually come back. Maybe a little bit more than that. I might be able to say if I go $3,000. But at any rate, we're not going to be doing these two arms of the the Delta V map here. If you're unfamiliar with Jool, I'll explain. To circularize is 2810, which is certainly possible, but it is just it's a lot just to circularize when there's really no reason to circularize on our mission. And then the last leg of the journey would be to land, and that's 14K. And you can't land on Jool anyway because the atmospheric pressure is so high that it'll actually crush your craft, and anything below a certain point on Jool is programmed to explode. There's no way around it. I guess maybe unless you hack the game somewhere, or there's a mod or something like that. But anyway, in the base game, Jool will just destroy anything that comes too close to it. So this is a theoretical number here, $14,000, but in reality, don't try to land on Jool. There's no point. You may also notice that this kind of Kraken-like structure here is the 5 moons of Jool: Paul, Bop, Tylo, Val, and Lathe. Lathe being kind of the more interesting one. But anyway, it does have several moons here, and this is, I think, going to be kind of our mission, is that we're going to go and we'll just do a little bit of sightseeing on all the different moons of Jool. So no real particular goal, but to have fun. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's have some fun. So I want to attempt to use the Rubik, right? We have the Rubik 1, which was our craft when we went to Elu. Let's go ahead and delete this fairing. There we go, so we can see what we're doing. But we're going to just modify this craft to do what we want to do for this mission, okay? So let's take off everything from the heat shield down, because we're actually not going to be landing. My point is that we're not going to be landing. So let's reroute to this part. So this is our new main part, and let's take off this and throw it away. Let's take this off and stick it onto the bottom just for now anyway. Get rid of the landing, the fuselage, get rid of the engine, get rid of the docking port. And now let's reshuffle this. What is that on the bottom? Is that the way the bottom always looks? I just not noticed that before. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was just the way the bottom looked. Okay, so let's do that, and we'll take off this. We'll put on the science section of this project, and the heat shield, the appropriate heat shield is the 2.5. Yes. Okay, and oh look, it already has parachutes on it. We will give it the top parachute. Cool. And why does it have fun? Oh, okay, that's just the parachute stuck on there. Okay. And then it's got all these struts, which can go away, at least for now. Okay, this looks like it, right? We just need the pod and all of the science. Let's check the science while we're here. All the science I don't understand. We got the fuel things in here, which we'll use for this mission as well, even though we certainly could use solar. We're just going to leave these on here. Got the storage unit, and we have all of our experiments around back, so that's fine. And again, the heat shield on bottom, and the parachutes on top, so we should be okay. I'm not even going to worry about drogue chutes. That hasn't proven to be a problem so far in this playthrough. Not to say it won't, but it hasn't been so far. So there we go. I did have a little bit of a hard time wiggling this thing out. Remember that? What can I do about that? I'm thinking about moving. Let's find the main structure here. Here we go. I think I'm able to just kind of move it away. Like that. To give it some clearance all the way around. And these struts, even though it'll technically be attached to this piece, I think these struts are going to help hold it in place. But I am going to continue to add struts. I'm going to strut the dickens out of it. Strut across and strut to the main part here. I said strut to the main part here. I said strut to the main part here. There we go. And then, yeah, they're attached together. They're attached there at the top. They're attached here in the middle. They're attached at the bottom. Let's attach them to each other at the bottom as well. Likewise, this is always a problem. Let's attach from here to here, because this joint is weak. And then I want to. This joint right here is weak as well because of the what they're calling the airstream protective shell, but we all know is a fairing. I'm going to try to do something here to mitigate that, because I happen to know for a fact this becomes a problem. So we're going to add in. I don't need the big ones. I think I could probably just use these small ones. I don't think the game really cares. Take some struts from there to to there. Okay. There. I think that's attached to the correct piece. I hate to pick it up, but I'm gonna pick it up again, try again, just to make sure. Okay. I'm going to assume that's okay. You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do like all the symmetry. There we go. Hey, look, I actually attached it where I wanted it to that time. Okay, because this joint right here, between this protective shell, between this thing, is also weak. So I'm going to see if I can add some struts to that. And then, likewise, I'm also going to strut. I really don't care how it looks. I know it's hideous, but I want it to work. I'm also going to strut up right here as well. Oh, there we go. So this whole thing should hold itself together pretty well. And then there's struts all the way down too. So, yeah, what we lose in the game in terms of our, in real life capabilities, we're going to gain in the fact that we have these imaginary struts that do everything we want them to do. Let's click on move here, and I don't know how much the difference this will make, but I'm going to, let's see if I can, please click on it. There we go. There we go. Trying to get them in the same orientation. Yes, there's still a gap here, so this command pod should release, and then all the struts have stayed where they were. Yes. Okay, so everything looks okay. Let's do a quick sanity check before we put this fairing back on. The thing is strutted to hell and back. We've got all the Delta V. How much Delta V do we wind up having here on this craft? A total of 13. Wow, 13.7k. So that's plenty to do what we need. We've got plenty of parachutes on top. We have the heat shield, all the science, and our fairing. Okay. And build fairing. Let's go ahead and build it. There we go. Up, up, up. And in. There we go. Okay, go away. Let's take a step back. Look at it. A little fatter than it was last time. I really don't know why. Why is it fatter this time? Oh, because I moved them out. That's right. I moved them out of the away from the center core. Okay, this should work. This is now officially the Rubric 2. Here we go. Name this one. Thursday goes to Jool. Hopefully. Cool. Let's save that. Now we have a new craft, and I think this thing should work. Let's leave. And last thing we're going to do before we go, and this may have already been done. I'm trying to remember where I've loaded my save point from, which that's behind the scenes stuff that I guess you don't care about. But I want to make sure that our planets are in the correct orientation before I launch. So let's do that. What I want, because I'm not going to be using the window flight planner, I want, here we go. I want Jool to be 90 degrees ahead of Kerbal. In fact, I'm a little bit behind. Let's see if I can maybe catch up a hair. Oh, that's a little acute. That's a little acute, but it'll be okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and launch this sucker. I'm going to, it's already daytime, fantastic. Let's take it to the launch pad, load the Rubik 2, and put on the appropriate crew. We're going to get all 4 stars off of there, and we're going to grab Haley, who's our weakest scientist, Arbo, who's our weakest pilot, and we have Wilney and Science, we have 2 pilots. It doesn't really matter at this point. The only thing I want to make sure is that Valentina can do, let's see, full vessel control without ComNet access, target tracking. What does the 5-star provide? I'm not entirely sure what the difference between them are, but I'm pretty sure that she can make maneuvers even without comm. Stability and all that, target tracking. Okay, well, I think that's fine. I think I'm going to put her on there. It should be okay. You know what? I do want to do this, though. Let's take Arbo off and put Bill on, so I have an engineer on board. Okay. And let's launch it. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. So in this series of episodes, we are going back to kind of what I want to do in terms of the way these videos are presented, which is going to be full commentary, live full commentary videos with little to no editing. There's a couple, because I am using these atomic rocket motors. There are a couple of places where it just might be necessary to do a little bit of editing because it's just like so long. It's just a lot of video time. But most everything I think I'm going to do unedited, just me sitting here talking while we're playing the game, hopefully teaching a little bit, or just being generally entertaining. How's this thing holding up? Holding up pretty well. Let's go ahead and start turning it over. I remember this being a particularly stable craft, so I should be able to get a good gravity assist. I'll revert if I need to, but I don't want to, obviously. I like to be at 45 degrees by the time we hit 10K. I think I've mentioned that several times at this point. Pretty much that's just the standard. That's the standard KSP profile for everybody who plays this game. So that's what I'm going to follow as well. I want to be like everybody else. Anyway, so very minimal editing is my goal, and yeah, we'll see how well that goes. Hopefully. There was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh, this launch is going to be a little bit of a higher launch than I'm used to, or than I normally do. Higher orbit, that is. And the reason for that being because I'm using the Nerve atomic rocket motors. The burn time is so long that you actually oftentimes wind up burning back into the atmosphere a little bit, and that's no good. So because even if you're burning prograde, you're burning kind of at a time when the planet is like in front of you. So you actually start heading towards the planet before you actually move around the planet and then start going away from it, if that makes sense, like in your head. So anyway, to avoid, because the burn times are so long, I go into a little bit of a higher orbit, and that buys me more time. To do all the fun things I want to do. Yeah, this thing is flying great, which makes me really happy because I remember it not flying so well with the Rubik 1 because of the weak joints and everything. At any rate, we're having a pretty good profile here, pretty good launch. We're at 20 degrees and falling, and 60K apoapsis. Before too long, I'll go ahead and release that fairing. In fact, I think I'll go ahead and do it now. I don't see any reason to hold on to it. At this point, we're kind of out of the atmosphere. There we go. And yeah, now we're putting a lot of our energy into our horizontal speed, which will help us get to orbit faster. So we're not going to be in space as soon as we otherwise would, but we are going to be orbiting more efficiently. In fact, it's evidenced by the fact this is going up relatively slowly, but this is dropping very quickly. So it's going to be kind of a circularization all in one step. I think I still will have to do a secondary burn. And in fact, I know I will, but it'll be a very small burn. So here we are at 90k. Bink. We'll stop it at 90k. 90k. And that'll be the rest of our circularization, which should not be too bad at all. Let's see where we wind up going with this. 91, 89 is fine. Set that thing to maneuver, and yeah, it's only 400 additional meters a second worth of delta V to complete this. So yeah, that was actually a very good launch by my standards. And it is holding together very well. I think this trick right here worked out just fine, being able to strut from here to here. I think that was kind of the linchpin of the whole design. So a 23-second burn. I can go ahead and physics warp without shaking apart or anything. And what am I looking for? Half of 23 is 11 and a half. Yeah, so we're going to be hopping around Jool for the next couple of episodes. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this or not. The whole reason I brought that previous conversation up, let's go ahead and get ready for this burn. There we go. Yeah, the whole reason I brought up the non-editing episode thing was because that's what that means is that these episodes are either going to be very long, which they're not, or I'm going to do several of them, which I am. So we will have to do this in kind of parts, and just whenever I get to a point where I think the video's gone on long enough, we will stop, and there we go. That's fine. Okay, yeah, 91, 89, pretty circular by my standards. When we get to that point, we will just stop, and I'll save it, and then start the next video, and that'll be how these will be presented. I'm actually already at the point, or almost at the point, where we want to burn, right? We want to burn a little bit past the terminator between night and day. So about there-ish, a little bit further back is where we want to do our burn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this prograde marker, just kind of some distance, and then I'm going to move the prograde marker around until I get the maximum height. Okay, so as I move it, you see right there, 31, 143, 31, 168. I'm looking at this number right here. 31, 168, and then it goes back down, 166. So right about here is the time when I burn and gain the most from that delta V. So this is the time that we're going to start with, and then we're just going to pull this out, setting this as a target. I'm going to pull this out until we get an approach, and then pow. And that is about the most efficient, at least with the two planets aligned how they are. That's about the most efficient that you can be doing that. So it is an 8-minute burn. So we're going to burn at 4 minutes, and which is coming up pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and physics warp. And this is the part that we need to worry about. This is the part where we could kind of burn ourselves back into the atmosphere. So let's go ahead and physics warp over. If I've mentioned this several times in the thing, these videos already, but I think it might bear repeating just in case people don't know about it. Pressing Alt and then time warping while you're in space is what gives you this physics warp. And it's super handy if you've got a really big craft that takes a long time to turn over. Using this physics warp is a great way to not only get to your maneuver node, but also turn the craft over at the same time, which is exactly what I've done here. So I can go ahead and start this burn. And you see that my periapsis is indeed dropping, because look where the target is. I'm actually burning down below the equator, so I'm actually burning back down into the atmosphere, which is no good. So that's why I put myself in a kind of a high orbit to avoid doing this too much. Remember, the Kerbal, the atmosphere of Kerbin is actually, it's still pretty high. It's lower than the space line. It's about 50k. So as long as I don't go too low, I should be okay. The real risk, of course, is that if you start burning into the atmosphere, then the atmosphere will start providing drag, and will actually potentially slow your craft down enough to capture you, and so you don't want that. So at any rate, now is the point where we do the physics warp, because this just takes a long time to burn otherwise. And let's see if we actually start getting atmospheric effects, and we do. But they're actually not too bad. Okay, so we did dip down into the atmosphere a little bit, and which absolutely slowed down our craft and made us spend more delta V than we really needed to. That's absolutely true. However, it wasn't enough to concern me. It looked like I was paying attention to the burn time and to the delta V here, and it looked like it didn't spend too much. I think I have it in a budget, so that is not ideal. That's absolutely not ideal to do. And there are two things that you can do to avoid that. One is to go higher, to sit yourself into a higher orbit, and you simply won't change your orbit enough to actually go back down into the atmosphere. And the second thing to do is just to burn at a more appropriate time. So I guess a more appropriate time would be whenever the orientation of your craft isn't pointing at the planet. You want to be burning tangentially to the planet, right at the point. Kind of, if you look right here, you want to be burning this way, so you're not burning back down into the planet. That's kind of obvious, but it may not be obvious to everyone. So we will say that. Anyway, let's come over here and observe this side of it, and let's see if we can get if that ruined our intercept. I don't think it should have. And open up my Coke Zero. Delicious. I think it's funny how people tend to be pretty divided about diet soft drinks as a whole, is I guess the first thing to say. But the second thing is that well, let me slow down, and then I'm also going to throttle down so I can kind of make fine-tune adjustments here. Yeah, you can see that atmospheric burn did mess up my plan, but Jool's got a pretty deep gravity well, so I don't doubt that I'll still be able to. There we are, right there. Just anything's fine. I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna burn anymore. So what are we left with? 8,000, almost 50 meters a second. So plenty. Yeah, should be plenty. And this is the guy that we're bringing. I wish I didn't have to do all the struts. The struts make it look ugly, but outside of that, it looks pretty cool. So anyway, I'll time warp ahead a little bit, and then we'll set up a maneuver to kind of adjust our approach to Jool. Anyway, what I was saying was that people tend to be divided on soft drinks anyway, but one thing that definitely divides people, I've noticed, is Coke Zero versus Diet Coke. Now, I've heard and read several sources that say there is no difference between the two. It was like a marketing plan or a marketing thing or whatever, I don't know. There actually is no difference between the two of them. And a friend of mine completely disagrees with that. He drinks Coke Zero exclusively. I mean, he will drink Diet Coke, but like he prefers to drink Coke Zero. Where is Lathe? Let's go ahead and set Lathe as our new target, for reasons that will become clear momentarily. I'm just going to make adjustments while I'm talking. Let's move this up, and then it should be a little bit of a prograde burn to bring it in. Yep. And I drink Coke Zero now because he comes over pretty often, and so I figured, well, if he cares and I don't, then I'll just get the one that he likes, just to be a good friend. And ooh, am I not going to manage an intercept with Lathe? Which would be my goal. Oh, I am, right here. So he cares which one he drinks, and I typically don't. At any rate, the whole point of this, I'm sorry, now I've lost the plot. The whole point of this was that I decided to do a blind taste test the other day, where I got a bottle of each, and then had my brother give them to me, and I guessed which one was which, and I guessed incorrectly. So I drank Diet Coke for years, and then I drank Coke Zero for the last maybe 2 years, and all of that wasn't enough for me to say with confidence that let's see here, that one was one or the other. I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Let's just go ahead and perform this maneuver to intercept Lathe. And that is a long ways away, so we'll go ahead and time warp to there. Now again, he swears, my friend, the friend I'm talking about, he swears he can taste the difference. And I can't. Apparently, I thought I could, but in a blind test testing, I got him reversed. So, or maybe I guess I can taste the difference, but I'm not actually sure which one I like. I don't know. Hard to say. At any rate, not that it's the normal place that you would expect this conversation, but if you're interested in, if you drink diet soda, let me know how you feel about it, because it's kind of a polarizing topic. People get sometimes unnecessarily angry about it, but I mean, some people hate this stuff. I'm on keto right now. I think I mentioned that in the previous video, and I don't use a lot of sugar anyway, or eat a lot of sugar anyway. But since the keto thing, I've become more accustomed to the taste of artificial sugars. I guess by necessity. But like I said, I drink diet soda anyway, normally. So I was already pretty used to it. Pulling up on this maneuver node, I'm kind of worried about passing it up. I do tend to pass up these nodes. There we go. We'll get in within an hour. I'll quick save. And we will time warp over to the node. There we go. And then I'll regular warp to the appropriate time. And yeah, so you see that we're going to the lathe. We're actually setting up a maneuver with the lathe first, and that may or may not be an interesting strategy to you. Oh wow, I got that one pretty close. Let me focus on this real quick. Let's see what I can do here. And it doesn't matter too much. There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm going to make another adjustment a little while later. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and quick save. I know it just auto save. We're going to quick save, and we're going to warp into the SOI. So what we're going to be doing, and I'll be bringing this episode to a close, is actually going to time out really well. Kind of the first leg of the journey is getting into the Jool SOI, and that's a great place to end the episode. So we're at 28 minutes by my clock, so a 30-minute episode is perfect. So let's get into the Jool SOI, and then we'll do some science and look around, and then that will be this episode. And the next episode, we'll actually do all of our captures, and we'll kind of explore a little bit, and we'll see how far we get in that episode. So hope you enjoy this. Hope you are enjoying this kind of content. This is more what I want to do, like I've mentioned, where I kind of just play the game and I'm able to talk, even if it's about things like Diet Coke or whatever. Hopefully you're enjoying the content, not just because of the game, but also for me. I hope it doesn't come off as like arrogant or conceited or anything like that, but this is definitely a channel that I'm more interested in making, not about the video games in particular. Like, I'm not a particularly good video gamer, or I don't have like particularly good editing skills or anything like that. Hopefully my kind of genuine personality and just the way I play the game and the way I kind of educate while entertain, hopefully that's what's appealing. And that's the thing I want to get better at. So that would be super helpful to get kind of feedback on those kind of things. Like if you enjoy what I'm doing here, or if you'd prefer it some other way. That's the thing that interests me the most. While it's taking a long time to go there, let's take a look at the rest of the solar system real quick. We've already gone to Eeloo, which is, we're actually going to pass inside of Eeloo, Or I'm sorry, outside of Elu, probably on this mission. We'll probably be there long enough for Jool to spin around that far. It's hard to say. Maybe not, actually. We've already been to Dres. We've already been to Duna. So the only two places left after today are going to be Eve and Moho, which there it is. It wasn't appearing on the screen, but Moho, the innermost planet. The, I guess you'd say the Venus, the Mercury. I want to say it's more modeled after Mercury. I'm not entirely sure which of the two it would be. I think Eve is kind of unlike either. I'm not entirely sure now that I'm thinking. Now I'm second guessing myself. I want to say one is more fictional than the other. I mean, they all have real world analogs, but some more, closer. They're more accurate analogs than others. I guess I'll say it that way. At any rate, after here, we only have 2 more places left to go. Moho, I do not believe has a moon. Oh, it might. It's been a while since I've played. And I've done most of my playing on camera, too, so it's not like I'm playing on my own time and learning this stuff. Eve definitely does. Eve does have a moon. And we may or may not go to those places. I don't know. Speaking of, I don't know how much of this stuff we're going to do either. We'll have to see next episode how much of this we actually feel like doing when we explore. I might just kind of go into the SOIs of all these planets. Obviously, I'm not well equipped enough to land at any of them. So we won't be landing, but in terms of visiting them, we'll see what we can do. We'll see. Okay, so here we are, and we've got an intercept with Lathe planned. We will modify that next episode. So for the rest of this episode, let's go ahead and do all of our science. We'll use our handy dandy X Science Here and Now tool, or we'll just click on all of these. However, they do get pretty funny, so I actually will read them, because sometimes you get good ones. Let's see. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. Looks like it could be fun to paint with rocket. So we get 150 for this one. That's pretty good. You watch the glowing green storms below. They seem to go on forever, endlessly swirling into each other. Beautiful. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, as there is no matter around to be either hot or cold, except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. This is probably going to give the R&D guys something to think about for a while. Very philosophical indeed. The instrument reads 0 as if it were in a vacuum. You don't say. Sensor recalibrates to measure the massive gravitational forces of Jool. Yes, indeed, it is quite a large planet. The goo feels right at home here, which this one pops up all the time. And there we go. Likewise, let's go ahead and hop Haley out, who's sucking up all kind of experience at this point. Let's turn on her little headset. She'll do an EVA report. She says, okay, you just recorded your situation. And we'll open up the pod bay doors, Hal, and we will go away. We will collect and reset all of these. Let's switch craft here, and let's point normal. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's point anti-normal. So with respect to me, it's in kind of an up and down orientation. That'll just make the EVA a little bit easier. There we go. And then I'll switch crafts back. Here we are. This is a little bit easier to navigate than the way it was. So we'll just have her fly around the side here. This must be terrifying in real life. Can you imagine being in a jetpack, like flying, like you're untethered from the spacecraft? Like if something happens, there's nothing you can do about it. We'll collect the data and restore. Likewise, we will come a little closer here, collect the data, and restore. And these are the only two that need to have that done with, so we will hop back in. And I saw the board thing pop up, but it didn't. There we go. And then the last thing we'll do, although I just had her close the doors like an idiot, is we will stick them inside of the... go away. There we go. Collect all. So there we go. All 7 have gone inside of there. Now we can close the doors. So there we go. Several hundred science. Let's look around and see if we can actually see this thing. I think that's it right there. It's pretty large. Yes, we are very, very far away, but I want to say that's it right there. So yeah, there's a whole system of planets, or, well, one planet and several moons, right here. So yeah, very cool. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hope this is a fun mission for you. If there's anything you want me to do in a future mission, let me know. Likewise, if there's a game that you want me to play, let me know. I'm thinking about doing a series. I think I'm doing a little bit of Sniper Elite 4, just because I've actually kind of been wanting to play that game for a little while. And I think I'm about doing the Authentic Plus, like, hardcore mode, and in filming me do that, and that'll be kind of a series. I don't think I'll do it every day, but it'll be something I'll do kind of when I want to break from whatever else I'm doing. I'll throw one of those episodes in. I don't know. If anybody has any interest in it, let me know. Any feedback's good feedback. So at any rate, we'll come back next time for part 2 of this, and we'll explore some of these planets in the Julian system. Thank you one last time for being here. Really do appreciate it. And if you'd like and comment, if you liked it, like. If you want to comment. And if you want to subscribe, do that as well. At any rate, thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys next time.